Hey guys, what's up? It's Marauder Music with 3-Piece TCG, and today I'm coming at you with a Gecko Moria regional deck profile that took me 7 and 3. Now, 7 and 3 ain't like, top 20 or top 16, but it's a big deal for me. So if you're hating, suck a fucking dick, bitch. Anyhow, um, we were not that successful in our first run last week with Sakazuki. So at Nationals, I went 6 and 4. Last week I went 4 and 6, and I said, "Damn, something's got to change. This Cat Curry matchup don't feel the same." So I went ahead and switched it up with Gecko Moria. We'll talk more about that later. But I was able to go 7 and 3 today. I saw a lot of yellow. Just saw a fucking lot of yellow. But with that being said, I'm gonna get into the deck list, show you what I'm running. There's obviously some room for improvement. So let me know what you think I'm doing right, doing wrong, what you would do differently. And with that being said, please like, subscribe, comment below, all that good stuff. And let's take it over to the deck list portion. Okay, so we got, of course, our leader, Gecko Moria. When attacking, Dawn 1, then when attacking, you rest 2 Dawn. You may trash 1 card from your hand, trash 2 cards from the top of your deck, and play up to 1 Thriller Barks Pirate with cost of 4 or less from your trash. So similar to the Flamingo, Don Quixote Flamingo Blue. That was before my time. I didn't get in until set 3. So, he's a boss ass leader, got 5 life. That's very tanky. It feels so tanky. But so I've got these in order, like numerical order or cost wise, but we'll just go over them. So I'm running 4 Great Eruption, and Great Eruption. If you're watching this video, you know what these cards do. So we're basically talking about the ratios and stuff like that. But yeah, draw 1 card, then give up to one of your opponent's characters minus cost 2 during the turn. And then your trigger, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and trashes it. Let me tell you, that trigger actually comes in handy here and there because you get them down to such a low, you keep their hand low because of your Pironas, and it, segues into that. Then of course, Ice Age, I'm running a suite of, event reduction. Okay. So yeah, it's self-explanatory. We're trying to get these big bodies off the field. And you could do an Ice Age on Homeboy, and then on Gecko Moria, and then a -2 on Gecko Moria, bring them down to 7, and then you Gecko Moria, you Helmepo, Lucci, you Helmepo, somebody that's 4, and you're popping, or 4 or 5, and you're popping 2 people. Anyhow, you know the vibes. So now we're basically just getting into our 2Ks. So this is where I'm doing things a little different. So I'm running 4 Suru for the cost reduction. And the thing about the Suru real quick that I want to tell you guys is that there are going to be times that you might be a little shisty with her. Bro, you're gonna want to make sure you at least have her or Helmepo in your trash. So think about it like that. If you don't have any Helmepo in trash, you're gonna want to throw the Suru in there so that on your Gecko play, you can bring her and you can reduce and you can KO. Now this is the queen, bro. God bless. I didn't see this bitch throwing plates all damn day, but when I did, it was really fucking dope. I say all day, but when I did, anyhow. So on play, if your leader has the Thriller Bark Pirates type, trash 5 cards from the top of your deck. You definitely want to see her on your first Dawn turn or your second Dawn turn. She's the one you want to play, and you want to line up your Perona, and then you want to go into that. You just want to go into that sequence. It's just a killer fucking sequence, and yeah. So we'll talk more about that. But so here's where it gets a little spicy pika. Is that I'm running 2 Ppg'S. Okay, this is my little championship Ppg'S. And, I'm virtually never playing her. I just needed a Ppg'S that I could search with the Navy tagline. And, it's a 2K. But if I wanted to, I guess I could give up to one of my characters -2. Okay, shit, I thought that was 3. Anyways, okay, so now we got Perona. This card is fucking goated, bro. Like, first off, and I also want to talk about these sleeves. These sleeves came in 2 days fucking early. They came in on Saturday. Weren't supposed to be in until like Tuesday. Something crazy. And like, I was like, yo, I can play them in time. But anyways, I was so fucking hyped to get the sleeves. And this Perona card is just the bee's knees. Okay, so first off, it's Thriller Barks Pirates. It's a 4 for 5, 2K counter. On play, if your opponent has 5 or more in their hand, choose one. Your opponent trashes one card from their hand, or you give -3 to one of their cards. Anyways, you're almost never using the reduction. You know, personally, you're just never using the reduction. But damn, oh damn, you playing that on your second turn is so fucking lit, bro. You play her, ideally you're going first. You play her on your 1 dawn turn, then you swing 6, and before they can do anything, it's so important that it activates first, but you're able to play her out. She doesn't put anything to the bottom of your deck, which is also really cool. And you know, they got to get rid of a card, and then they got to get rid of at least a 2K or 2 more cards if they don't want to take the hit. And if you're going second, it also feels kind of goated too, because I mean, yeah, you have, you know, you got 1 extra dawn on your first turn, whatever. But on turn 2, you're swinging 7, and then you're playing her, and she's causing them to get rid of 1 card, and then they got to deal with the 7 swing. When you're going against Sakazuki, you're going against these 4 life leaders, bro. That puts them in a predicament. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, let me move these dawn over here. That's what we're running. Now, here's a choice, right? I'm only running 2 brand news. Okay, now brand new, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 navy card other than brand new, add it to your hand, and then trash the rest. So I saw myself just realize that I was using brand new less and less. There are, you know, plenty of targets for brand new, but I felt like I was seeing them kind of on my own merit at times. And brand new is not always your, you know, if I can, I'm gonna play her over brand new, frankly, in my turn 1 on my first turn. But if you don't have anything else, it's cool to play a brand new. That's dope. You draw 3, you get a navy. You're gonna inherently, you're gonna trash your thriller bark, so they're gonna be lined up. But outside of that, my first turn, I'm playing these. Whether I'm going first or second. And I'll save brand new for a turn that I have 2 extra dawn and I want to go ahead and just play him hard, or I will cycle him. Excuse me. I will not typically wouldn't cycle him, but I'll block with him, you know, for counter, and then I'll bring him out with a Gecko Moria. Still not a high priority target. For my Gecko Moria, one of the highest priority targets is this Helmeppo. Now Helmeppo, on play, give up to one of your characters -3 cost during this turn. This card is like, this is your bread and butter reduction. I don't understand how people don't run it at, I'm going to go ahead and tidy up while I'm talking. I don't understand how people just run it at 1 or just run it at, you know, 2. I could see 2, I guess, but like having 3 is a big deal, just because you absolutely want to see it by the time you are at your Gecko Moria. By the time you're at Gecko Moria, you really, really, really want to see this card. And sometimes you can play them outright on your 6th dawn turn if you're really hurting. You can play, you know, you can play a Helmeppo and reduce something, and then play a Lucci and pop 2. You know what I mean? This is not something I would recommend outright, but if nothing else, he's there for counter, and then you can play him later. But Helmeppo at 3, I really like that ratio. I don't think I'll be touching that. Now, I'm actually going to put him here because we're going to get into the thrillers. So we got 4 Hogback. Big shout out to Ben10, the 10 of Ben's, for hooking me up with those last 2 Hogbacks that I needed. Yeah. So on play, you may return 2 cards from your hand to your trash. Excuse me, from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Add up to 1 Thriller Barks Pirates card to your hand. Okay. So he's a 4 for 5, and he's got a 1K counter. This is the card that you're hanging on to when you're about to set up your Gecko Moria. So there's times when, if I got 2 Gecko Moria, I'm going to go ahead and pitch that Gecko Moria. If I can see a straight streamline into, like, okay, I'm at turn 7, or excuse me, 7 dawn. On my 7 dawn turn, I will, you know, possibly swing for 6, attach 1, swing for 6, you know, rest 2, throw him out, and then, you know, 2 more. And then what we're essentially doing is, if I pitched my Gecko earlier, I'm bringing him back with him to set him up for my 9 down turn. Outside of that, He's also what you're looking for if you need some more 2Ks. He can put the Perona back in your hand. He can put the Sindri back in your hand. But you're definitely looking at Hogback to bring back your Gecko Moria, because your Gecko Moria earlier in the game is it's a dud. You know what I mean? And I personally have been seeing more success staying healthy life wise. So staying at 5, staying at 4, you know, and very seldomly taking because everything goes in my trash anyways, and I'm going to bring it back anyways. So he is pivotal, and you don't want to use him frivolously. You want to use him to bring back your cards that you really need. Also on your, what is it? I believe on your 7 Dawn turn. Yes, you can play him for 3, right? You attach one Dawn, swing, bring him out, then put like a Helmeppo in your hand or a Paris. I keep saying Paraspero, bro. My Perona, and then you can play them outright for 4. You get what I'm saying? Or a blocker, whatever you want. So, anyways, now we're gonna go on to Absalom, and that's basically this deck's Lucci. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's got on. Man, I'm gonna just read it to you. On play, you may return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, K up to 1 character with a cost of 2 or less. So, yeah, this is somebody he's just popping 1. He's a 4 for 5, but you know it's good. He's good to see, and you can play him on. I wouldn't play him on curb outright, but I mean if he's your second Dawn turn because you don't have a Perona, you know there's worse things you could be faced with. So now I've seen people run him as low as 2 and seen people run him as high as 4, but I'm running 3 Rob Lucci, 4 for 6. And if you don't know, he's fucking, what was that? Fire Fist the card. Anyways, Fire Fist the character, but you may place 3 cards from the trash at the bottom of your deck in any order, K up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less, and up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less. So this is your removal suite, right? And these are the cards you're looking for. I got him at 3 and not 4 because I see him enough. And frankly, I'm not even needing to see him and play him from hand anymore. I can play him from trash, and that means that I can recklessly trash cards and play him for my Gecko. So I did play him one time on I think it was a 8 Dawn turn because I was forced to go second as a Gecko into a mirror, and I did play him, and you guys will see that match, but I did play him outright, and I did have a Gecko in hand, but we'll get into that. What I was trying to do was to lure out his Gecko, and essentially that's what happened, and then I Geckoed back once they KO'd him and put him right back in my trash. So anyways, Rob Lucci, he's a must-have. Some people run him at 2, some people run him at 4. I'm running him at 3. Now we've got those out there. Let's start talking about our blocker suite. Okay. Suite O blockers. So I've got 3 Borsellino. Now this Borsellino, it may not be much into the Sakazuki match, but it's a lot more. Its value is highest in the Gecko mirror because Gecko cannot bottom deck. So the most a Gecko can do is lure you into blocking when you don't have the counter to, protect him after the first initial swing. So, but 4 for 5 on your turn, 4 for 6 on theirs. Opponent's turn, this character gains 1,000 power and cannot be KO'd by effects. Absolutely huge. And then, but of course on your turn, on your turn, if you're swinging into yellow, they can absolutely KO you. If you get a whatchamacallit out of life. If you get a Thunderbolt or something out of life. So yeah, so just be cognizant of that it can be popped from triggers. Now we're gonna go over to Sabo. Now he has been my MVP for the Katakuri wins that I did get. Sabo, he's a blocker. He's 5 for 6. And on play, none of your characters can be KO'd by effects until the start of your next turn. Then draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. Now, that's only on the characters that have already been played. I was talking with a guy, and he had a different idea. And I said, no. But anyways, so when you're looking for Sabo, typically Sometimes I play him on curb if I'm going first. If it's got to be a real particular situation. But other than that, I'm playing him possibly on 5. I'm playing him on 7. And then I'm playing him after I've played Gecko Moria because that's when I've got such a wide field and I'm posturing to go for lethal, to threaten lethal. And that's when I will play, and that's what I did to a Katakuri. I played one early, and then I played another after my Gecko Moria play. And what that did was enable me and my entire board to just swing at life fearlessly and keep both him and my other Sabo alive. In that match, they did trigger fairly well, not broken, but it was all right. I think it was 3 triggers, but one of them was an extra life, of course. But yeah, he's a blocker that initially protects your whole field, cannot be Amaru'd, which is a big deal. However, can be rejected. So remember, if they have reject, once his ability is done, he will get popped. However, that reject does cost 4, and then you're on your merry way of trying to hopefully you got all the 2K in the world. In my situation, I needed what was it? I needed 4 2Ks just to survive, but then close out the round. So that's the suite of blockers, and then now the super flex is 2 Brook. So if you're doing your math so far, that means I got 4 cards left. And let me tell you, they ain't Kuzan. I actually opted out of running Kuzan. I know that sounds nuts to a lot of people, and especially for someone who complains about the yellow match as much as I do. But I'm not running any Kuzan, but he just wasn't sticking in any other matchup. And even in yellow, they can still, pop him with Gadatsu, etc. But Brook seemed like the move. Why? Because against the Gecko Moria mirror, when they want to play their Borsellino and just look at you like you're crazy because you can't do nothing about it, well, you can do something about it. You can play that Brook, and then you can swing for 6, and then hopefully you got a good field and blah, blah, blah. This happened in an IRL tournament, which I did get recorded and will have uploaded, but it just didn't take place any other time and actually didn't happen at all today for me. Of all 10 matches, I don't think I played one fucking Brook, which is a bit of a shame. And it is a tough card too, bro. I mean, look, 6 for 6, that's cool. Not the worst stat line, right? But for you who don't know, on play, choose 1, trash up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less, or your opponent places 3 cards from their trash at the bottom of their deck in any order. So, I mean, he's an obvious play into Nami. You know what I mean? Frankly, you're just reversing what their cause is. But yeah, dude, it's mainly to put those Borsellinos away or those Okikonojus away to prevent them from getting more life for, getting rid of a character, which is just fucking busted, dude. But anyhow, running 2 of them, and that's all I can say about him, man. He's not searchable. So I don't know. I might, after today, go back to Kuzan because at least Kuzan, it's more feasible for me to play him, even though I really typically don't. And it just incites fear, and it's an aggro sucker when I play, if I should be forced to play Gecko Moria and bring him back along with a brand new. So for Gecko Moria, it's a staple, it's a standard, it's a must, it's law. You know what I mean? For Gecko Moria, this is from what I can tell, it's going to be the staple card for all of Black from here on out. You know what I mean? Until they do something about it. But there doesn't really need to be anything done about it. Yes, he's 8 for 9, he could be 8 for 8, and it would still be fair. Blah blah blah, whatever. But he's not as game-breaking as other cards are. He's not as brainless. Definitely not as brainless as other cards are. It's not like you can just slam him, get rid of your opponent's life, and gain a life for nothing. No interaction. Am I right? Ayo. But yeah, so this is what you're looking for. You want to go first because if you go first with Gecko Moria, you're able to, on his turn, you're able to get something like an Ice Age out, or you're able to get something like a Great Eruption out. And a Great Eruption, or preferably an Ice Age into a Helmeppo, you're going to go down, you're going to take somebody down two card. You're basically taking 2 cards out with your Lucci play. So that's what you're looking for. But he's not always the slam on curb answer that you think he would be. And I guess we'll just have to get into deck list. But yeah, on play, choose up to one of your characters with a cost of 4 or less, and up to one character with a cost of 2 or less from your trash. Play 1 card and play the other card rested. I missed the whole fucking thing, but there you go. Yeah. So he's the staple, and I really can't talk any more about him without getting into the particulars. So with that being said, let's get into like my matchups, I guess. And I went up against yellow first, and I lost. And frankly, there was just kind of nothing I could do. And I'm going to be uploading all of these matches so you guys can watch them back, because it was really fucking tough. Okay, so I was going to do what you should do on curve kind of deal, but that's going to just be a separate video. I'm just going to talk about my 10 matchups as best as I can recount. But just to run through it, the first one was a Katakuri, and the Katakuri just saw everything. It was one of those where I'm doing everything I can. But there's only so much you can do. People think you can just rush down Katakuri these days. That's just not the fucking, that's not the wave, dude. It's not that fucking easy. They got triggers, they got cards. When I win against Katakuri, I'm playing my best and I seem to get lucky. And when I lose against Katakuri, I was playing my best, but I got unlucky. You know what I mean? They got that one. I'm not trying to take anything away from like yellow players, but the facts are like, I booted up the sim after last week, getting bopped by yellow left and right. I started playing Katakuri and I found myself, you have a clear curb. You know what I'm saying? You 1 for your search, 3 for Parasparrow, 5 Gadatsu, 7 for mom, 9 for another mom and a swing or something, whatever the fuck. And then, or Katakuri in a swing, and then 10 mom, 10 mom, 10 mom until oblivion. And there's your deck profile, there's your deck list, there's your how-to with Katakuri. It's that fucking simple. The rest of the game, I was just like, ooh, I really hope I get this out of trigger. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. Like, there was no strategy. There was no, that's it. You know your cards that you want to play. And fucking, what you want to see out of trigger. So it's like, it really is real life casino. So I would personally rather be more in control of my fate. You know what I mean? And even though it does take a little longer, it takes a little more brain power, I would rather have that than just kind of like trust my fucking tournament existence to the cards. The problem with that deck in general is that it's getting to be that casino is starting to feel a little more fixed, and it's starting to feel like the house always fucking wins, and it's starting to feel like if you're the Katakuri player, you got the keys to that said house. So spoiler alert, my only 3 losses were 2 Katakuris and 1 Enel, and the Enel just, they saw everything. I don't understand what people were talking about. Enel was weak. I did have to go second, so Enel did get to see what they needed to. But yeah. So if I'm looking at my list, I lost the first one, and then let's see. Of course, it's not gonna fucking load. Of course, it's gonna take fucking forever. Okay, so when I look at my list, I lost the first game to Katakuri. Then I won the second to a Sakazuki, I believe. And I won again to another Katakuri. And then I lost to possibly the Enel. And then I won 4 games in a row. That was your Uta. That was a Gecko. That was 2 Katakuris littered in there somewhere. Then my second to last loss was a Katakuri. After just beating one. And then my final game was against a Gecko Moria. So I saw a lot of yellow. Oh, also one of those wins was a Yamato, which the guy was cool, but he did kind of rage quit at the end. I guess he said he lost the game a while ago when he didn't see what he wanted. And what he wanted to see was the 8 cost blocker kid. So, that was my tournament experience. We also had a really weird repair at the beginning, and me and the first Katakuri, I was playing somebody and it was a Katakuri, and we were like halfway through our match and they told us it's time to repair, and it's like, yo, what the fuck? And then I repaired and saw another fucking Katakuri, and it's like, damn, dude, like I literally probably seen, I want to say at least 5 Katakuris at least, it was a really it was tough in that sense. But so if you guys got any kind of tips, tricks, you know, sources to like watch what's going on with that matchup, because right now for me personally, yeah, I can Sabo down. Yeah, I need to start running Kuzan apparently, but it just feels like I do my best and just hope after that. Like there's no calculation, there's no nothing. Whereas my other matches, like when the Gecko mirror, you know, they're broken too, right? They're Gecko too, right? I'm like, okay, cool. He's gonna Gecko on. If I got to go second, I can Gecko first. But instead, I'm gonna play XYZ to lure out his Gecko, and then I'm gonna Gecko that, and then you know what I mean. I'm strategizing, and with fucking Katakuri, I'm like, well, let's see if he triggers, you know. So it does kind of take away from a lot of the fun aspect, the challenge aspect. Another one of my favorite matches was against Uda, and they went ham. I think that was just a really good game between the two of us. We went back and forth. I think all of my Gecko matches were really good, with the exception of one, and it had nothing to do with the player playing bad. It was just a poor heart of the card situation. He literally trashed 3 of his 4 geckos and never saw a hog back until the end of the game. So once I saw 3 and I saw no hog back, and his hand starts to dwindle and it's getting to be that time, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna just gecko back to back. You know what I mean? I'm geckoing, I'm hog backing, I'm setting up my next gecko. I just got fearless with it, but it still came down pretty close. He was going first, so he, you know, slight advantage or just flat out advantage. But yeah, dude, I am at fucking 30 minutes, possibly already. I keep telling you to watch this at 1.5, but that's my deck list, and I'll have a shot of it, you know, at the end of it or some shit like that. And that's my deck list. That's been my tournament experience. I was not able to get into anything but an IRL tournament in fucking Dallas, so I'll fucking see you guys out there. Fuck me. And yeah, dude, just great games. Really proud of myself, and no major misplays. So that's the big deal for me. So losing's part of the game, you know, even if it is the fucking yellow. But misplays is something I can't tolerate, and that's what I have a hard time with. But outside of that, we got placed 139, so just right outside of top 125, and getting 1 extra Luffy Don. But I do got some pretty cool stuff coming to me, I think. So really appreciate you guys' support. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the likes and subscribes. This was something that has just like been a passion project. Nothing that I'm like looking to be super lucrative off of or anything like that. But you know, I feel like I'm filling a void for my local scene, and just, you know, helping out, and so that we can all watch these games back and learn. And so yeah, so I'm throwing it out to you guys. All the top players I know have a great online following, and what I guess more so than the online following, they got great testers. They're mixing their ideas up with everybody. So that's what I intend to do. I intend to mix things up with you guys so we can, you know, learn from each other. And as you know, I'm playing One Piece. I'm playing Dragon Ball Z. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. One Piece got a lot more fun with this OP06. 5 was a little stale, but is what it is. Anyways, this has been Murata Music with 3-Piece TCG, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Like, subscribe, comment, you know, and don't forget to give me some notes on this deck list. And, you know, I'm looking to sub out Brook and possibly put Kuzan back in. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. You guys be safe. Peace. Dripping like a Fazaduni, fixing, got Luffy ambition, king of the rappers, the mission. I see they got the lights.